It's Western Conference time for the traveling Golden State Warriors today. We've got some terrific NBA action in store for you today. I'm Kevin Harlan with Clark Kellogg and Greg Anthony, and Doris Burke reporting from the sidelines.
All right, ready to go? Ready to go?
And it's going to be San Antonio off the tip. And now the Golden State Warriors starters. It's the Splash Brothers, Curry and Thompson at the guard spots. The defensive stalwarts, Green and Bogut, are down low. And it's Barnes in at the 3 spot. Now here's Leonard. Right block shot. And a big bounce off the rim, but it sinks right in.
And guys, when you watch the Spurs play, it's like watching poetry in motion. I mean, every cut, every screen comes at a precise time, and they play beyond the sum of their talents because of that style.
Now here's Green after the miss from Stephen Curry. Green passes to Aldridge. Outside Leonard. Clock at 6. Aldridge sets up the pick now for Leonard. And lots of contact there. Missing the shot. He'll shoot 2.
That's his first personal foul.
The Spurs shooting their first shots from the stripe in this game.
Marcus Aldridge. 2 shots.
And the first one at the line is good.
And guys, one thing that we were treated with last year was Steve Kerr's great quotability in post-game interviews and pressers. He said all the right things and deflected praise like a coach who had done it for many years.
Now here's Curry. The feed now to Bogut. The layup missed. 3-on-3. Parker dishes to Duncan. Barnes grabs the miss. And Kerr is so good with the media because, Greg, he was a media member himself for so long. You know that as well as anybody. Clark, I don't think he ever tried his hand at broadcasting, though. I can't see him doing that, could you?
Yeah, right,
No.
right, right. He probably just drawn on as a broadcaster and rarely contribute anything of note. Some guys have what it takes to call games, and Steve just doesn't quite scratch me as that kind of guy.
No. Just over a minute and a half played here in this one. And Leonard gets it to go.
Not fazed at all by having a bigger defender on him down low, and I really thought he would be.
You know, at first glance, you wouldn't think that he'd be comfortable in that particular situation. But, well, I tell you what, he didn't look like he was out of his element at all right there.
And you know, it took them a while to get going, but they finally connected now on their 4th shot of the game.
Now let's find out what head coach Steve Kerr had to say to Doris Burke. Doris?
I asked him what they needed to key in on defensively, and he said, well, we've got to limit penetration by Tony Parker. He's really the, quote, head of the snake. And with his floater, he doesn't need to get all the way to the rim to score. It's crucial that we do our best to keep him outside the lane. Guys, that's no easy assignment. We'll see how much success they have defensively.
Thank you, Doris. In transition, here come the Spurs. And Kawhi Leonard with the slam.
And that's the kind of play you just do not want to give up defensively. You lose the possession and give up a quick 2 at the other end. That's losing basketball.
Especially when you can't afford to give up any buckets. That's a nice lead now.
And when you look at Draymond Green, he's not a guy who will wow you with his numbers or his athleticism, Clark. He brings a lot of intangibles, though, and I remember talking early in his career with Tom Izzo up at Michigan State saying those exact things, that he gives you so much more than just what you see.
And his current coach and our former partner, Steve Kerr, raves about him. He's the heart and soul of the Warriors, in Steve's words.
Here's Parker following the basket by Stephen Curry. Parker right side. Aldridge sets up the pick now for Leonard. Aldridge wide open, he fires, and it's good. He planted his feet on the pick and shielded the defender off.
This is as good as it gets for a first quarter in terms of shooting the basketball.
Greg, you're exactly right. I mean, everything seems to be dropping. Impressive scoring here.
Spurs leading by 7. Left side, Leonard. There's the killer two-handed slam.
Boy, he threw out some punishment with that two-hand throwdown.
And Clark, now's the time to do it. Continue to attack that rim.
Here's Curry. 1:07 left to play in the first quarter. And the Warriors decide to take their first time out here.
And offensively, they've been struggling.
They can't guard us on the perimeter.
Get back into a good flow and stop forcing shots.
Well, Greg, the misses started piling up. Things kind of snowballed on them in that regard. This is a good timeout to kind of calm his guys down and hit the reset button.
So San Antonio goes with a fresh 5 on the floor. Golden State also making some changes. Spates checked in for Bogut. Iguodala comes in for Harrison Barnes. And it's Livingston in for Curry.
Oh, that's a close call there on the illegal screen.
But I'd go along with it, Greg. I mean, it didn't look like his feet were set to me.
The Spurs have gone 6 of 8 in the game so far. A very solid start for them. Pick by West. And here's Mills for 3. And it's Spates with the rebound. Warriors trail by 9. Livingston kicks to Iguodala. Iguodala draws the double. To the paint. And Spates with the basket on the assist from Green. 34 seconds left in the first. Pick by West. Mills passes to West. And Thompson sends it back. Here is Livingston, covered by Mills. Green dishes to Thompson. And here's Iguodala outside. And the rebound goes to Martin. Right wing. And Mills kicks to Martin. And he stuffs it. What a pass to set him up.
And very little fight put up by the defense as he made his way to the bucket for the jam.
They did seem to take the cautious approach, Greg, when it came to defending that one. You're right.
And, guys, it's not the time for caution now. I mean, they've got to be aggressive and take some risk to see if they can cut that lead down.
How big must that hoop look to Steph Curry? And tough to guard might be the understatement of the day.
I mean, he is just an insanely great shooter. I mean, arguably, I don't think there's an argument. He's the best shooter in the world. The argument is whether or not he's the best shooter ever. And listen, I can imagine there's very few times that Coach Curry is not going to allow this Splash brother to let her rip.
Welcome back, folks. We'll see if we're in store for a more tightly contested quarter as we move here into the second. And let's get your take, guys, on the scoring breakdown for San Antonio.
And so far, these guys have done a fantastic job finding the opening man and getting some easy baskets.
You know, it also hasn't taken them long to make their mark in the paint. I mean, they're doing a lot of their scoring from in there.
Mills and Manu at the guards. Anderson is out there with West. And it's Martin in at the small forward position. So that's who San Antonio starts the second with.
And Iguodala knows just how deadly his teammates can be from outside, and he looks for them to get their shot before getting his own. I think this situation for him in Golden State's perfect for his skill set.
Here's what San Antonio's going with right now. Tim Duncan, he's checked in for West. Aldridge comes in for Anderson. Green, he's checked in for Kevin Martin. And Parker's subbed in for Patty Mills. You look at the metrics for it, Clark, and Iguodala is onto something. He just knows to look for the best team shots.
Yeah, he's got a really good basketball IQ, and I think it's his selflessness that allows him to tap into that, especially at the offensive end. Rarely forces situations offensively.
Kawhi Leonard's checked in for San Antonio. And, guys, Tim Duncan still dominant after 18 years. You know, he's reshaped his body. He has gotten a brand-new diet, which he says has had a huge benefit. We saw in the playoffs last year, Greg, I think, you know, he probably was one of the top 5 overall performers in last year's playoffs.
No doubt about it. We continue to write this guy off, Kevin, and he just continues to defy Father Time. I mean, there was a point where he was starting to feel the wear and tear, especially in his knees. But being the competitor he is, he decided to dictate to his body rather than letting his body dictate to him.
Aldridge, good.
You can't afford to give him that kind of a look.
Well, you know, he came off a good screen, but still, as a defender, you got to do a better job of fighting over and through that.
And that one's good.
Terrific effort on that shot. I mean, he's given up a lot of inches in that mismatch.
Well, height, who cares about height? I mean, it's just a number. Hey, you got to go with what you got. And he took what he had right at him there.
It's Parker with the drive. Lays it up and banks it in.
You know, getting back to Duncan, when you talk to his teammates, they'll tell you he's disciplined. He maintains a strict diet, does off-the-floor training, from boxing to swimming, throwing tires, running in the sand. That keeps him motivated and engaged.
Now a timeout called by Golden State.
And talking about Duncan's new look, Coach Popovich had an interesting quote. Pop said, I look at him and tell him, you look like Sprewell used to look. Just skin and bones, ligaments and tendons. I mean, but you know what? You can't argue with success, and not many people have had more than Tim Duncan.
Shot is good, and the Spurs lead is cut down to 7 on the bucket from Barbosa.
Still trailing, but their offense is off life support here in the second quarter. It's got a pulse.
Good point, Clark. They're starting to make some shots, looking to try and get back in this one.
All right, fans, one more time. Keep it going for your Silver and Amber.
Second quarter of play with around 2 minutes gone so far. Aldridge with a screen on Curry. It's Parker with the drive. Leonard on the wing. Warriors with the rebound. Outside Curry. Here's Barbosa. Terrific design on the pick play, and he lays it in. And now just a 5-point San Antonio lead. Parker kicks to Leonard. And the rejection by Ezeli. And here we go. Fast break. Curry's got it. Bogut the pass to Curry. Barbosa for 3. Here's Bogut. That doesn't fall either. He's missed his first 2 shots tonight. Right side Green. Back to Parker. He kicks it to Green. And it's good on the assist by Parker. And the Spurs lead by 7.
And guys, they continue to put a lot of pressure on the interior defenders with the way they work down low.
It's becoming a theme in this game, Clark. They are piling up the points in the paint.
Spurs have gone 50% from the floor in the second quarter, 3 of 6.
And Steph Curry, 6'3" and about 195. I mean, a slender frame. You look back to high school and college, and that was one of the question marks. Did he have the strength to succeed?
Shot clock at 5. Leonard, that's for 2. Nice shot from the wing. And it's a 9-point San Antonio lead.
It's got to be nice for them to know that game in and game out, his offense is going to be there for him.
And speaking of Curry's slight build, he's worked up and bulked himself. He's added some muscle. He even got up to 200 pounds, I think he said. But he didn't feel real good, Clark, at that weight.
Yeah, it's not about the weight, Kevin. It's about strength. You need it to fight through screens and attack the rim, and he's clearly put on the strength he needs to play at his highest level.
Parker against Curry. Parker's shot is off.
That's a surprise. I mean, really out of character for him to miss when the defense is not right up on it.
Curry with it. Now Green defending.
And guys, you talk about ascendant stars in the NBA, none brighter than Steph Curry, the leading vote getter for the All-Star game a season ago. But what I love, he doesn't let it go to his head. I mean, he remains grounded and focused on winning.
So San Antonio goes with a fresh 5 on the floor. Different look here for the Warriors. Spates checked in for Bogut. Draymond Green comes in for Festus Ezeli. Brandon Rush, he's checked in for Harrison Barnes. And it's Klay Thompson in for Leandro Barbosa.
Steady work at the free throw line. Just what we're used to seeing out of him.
Diaw, the screen. Mills dishes to Diaw. And Draymond Green picks up the foul. That'll be his second foul of the game.
Yeah, clearly he had an established position there.
Yeah, and I like this call because you want the refs in that situation. If there's any doubt, err on the side of giving the benefit of the doubt to the offensive player. That should have been a block, and it was.
The Warriors making a switch here. Livingston's checked in. Spates with the block. And that'll be San Antonio as it goes out of bounds. Spurs retain possession. "12 seconds left now here in the second. 3 on the clock.
Taking it to the rack with power right there.
Hammering down with the two-handed slam.
Just piling on the lead with the dunk like that.
And so it's Golden State with it. 7-point differential. It's Thompson off the drive. And lots of contact there. Missing the shot. He'll shoot 2. It's going to be on David West.
I mean, even from over here, you could see that one pretty clearly.
No question about it, Greg. I mean, a ton of contact and a good call by the officials.
The Warriors shooting their 5th and 6th free throws of the game. And he's good on the second. Mills. No good. And the first half is now in the books.